right?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about water. Water is so important. Why? Because it is what gives life to all plants and animals and humans, of course. Sorry. Have you guys ever been to a river or a lake? You can raise your hand. Or the ocean. Water is really cool. But we need to remember that we don't have unlimited water supply. Water is very important for the environment and nature to keep being happy, because much of the rain that keeps animals and plants alive will come from the water that is already on the earth. People are motivated to conserve and preserve things they care about. Water is so important and cool. And then we'll start thinking about innovative ways to conserve it. So where does the water we drink come from? Can you see the blue planet? Why is it blue? Because it's covered with water. And if you look at the little graph, actually, the Earth is covered somewhere between 70 and 75% of water. And how much of that water is salt water, meaning oceans? 97.5% of that water is salt water, meaning only 2.5% is fresh water. And how much of that fresh water is frozen in the ice caps? It says here, nearly 70%. So that left us with only 0.08% of the water on the whole planet available to use in our home. So that's very little. So we really need to make all the efforts we can to conserve it. How do we use water? With that small amount of Earth's water, we use it for a lot of things. We use it. Does anybody want to give a use of water that we have? You can raise your hand. I don't see all of you guys.
Do you want me to call on someone?
Yes, if you can.
That'd be great.
How about Michaela?
We
Can
use
you give
it
us
when
what we use water for?
we use it to wash our hands, so you can play in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can wash your clothes with it.
Yeah.
You drink it.
Of course.
Use it for plants, use it for food.
Yeah, pretty much a lot of stuff, right? Cool, very good. Thank you. Overall, around the world, there are more and more people that are not getting all the water they need. Adults all over the world are scrambling to find solutions to manage available resources and costs. So if you look at this drawing, can you identify where water is being used? Can I have somebody else give example of water?
Carlos, go ahead.
Here
In the drawing?
it's being used, well, in the drawing it's being used in the pool and in like that sprinkler.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's being used in the restroom upstairs.
Yeah. The restroom, the laundry room. You see the little doggy, his bowl probably.
The plants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's plants also. I hadn't seen that. Great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Oh yeah, did you guys draw your favorite things to do at your house?
Yes, they did.
Okay, can you show it on the screen right now?
All right, class, go ahead and turn on your cameras and hold up the photo to the screen of, what was it, your favorite thing to do at home, correct?
Your favorite things to do at your house, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Senna. Thank you, Osh. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Sana. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Itziana. Thank you, Justice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that has something to do with water or something that uses water in it?
Lucas.
All right.
Michaela. Michaela, are you able to unmute?
Okay, I had trouble unmuting for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, did I have my hand raised? I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. If you want to help me with when people raise hands, because I see only a few of them since I'm
Sure.
also seeing.
Yeah, I can help
Thank
with
you.
that.
All right, so next slide. Do you guys know what the word conservation means? Conservation means that we do not use something just because we want to, but we decide to use less of it to keep it around to protect the earth. So not using as much water has been the main way we have tried to protect all the water on the planet. Have you ever heard your parents only being able to water your backyard on certain days of the week? That's because the city of LA has been trying to conserve our water supply by limiting how much water everyone can use. A great source of our water is coming from the sky. It's actually coming right now with the rain. And it's fun to collect rainwater. I don't know if some of you have rain barrels. I do, I have two. And it can be a great way to water your plants instead of using tap water afterwards. So if we become more conscious about the water we use, more water will be available to us and to the plants and wildlife when droughts occur. Some easy ways to conserve water include fixing leaky faucets and leaky toilets, taking showers instead of baths because it uses less water, replacing lawns with plants that survive well in a dry climate because they don't need as much water. And for a city, it means also using recycled water, recycled by a wastewater recycling plant. Now we also use water outdoors. Has any of you ever seen an irrigation system like this before? Like this huge, massive thing over the field? What is irrigation? Irrigation is a system to water crops. Farmers grow crops to serve all sorts of human needs, including your food and your clothing, like for cotton, for example. And all the fresh food you see in the grocery store comes from a farm. We can either get our food from a small farm that only sells their food nearby, or we can get food from far away. Often when we get food from the big grocery stores, it comes from industrial agriculture. This means that these farms are very, very big and feed many people around the country or even further than that. But industrial agriculture is a significant source of water use. In the US, 20% of the water we remove from rivers and groundwaters is used for industrial agriculture. So what can we do to save water outdoors? If you look at the two houses, the one before and one after, raise your hand. Can someone tell me what differences do you see?
Sana.
Well, in the first house on the left, they didn't plant any plants, but on the second one, there's like a huge there are lots of plants in the second house.
Yeah. So in the first one, it looks like it's only grass that's growing, right? And they're watering it with some kind of sprinklers that sprinkles everywhere. And on the one on the right, there's all kinds of different types of plants and flowers, and they're probably native plants, like plants that don't use a lot of water. So that's why it's more efficient to, especially in California where we don't get a lot of water, to put some of these plants and drought tolerant plants, so we can save water. And I feel that the second one is prettier, actually. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, so if you live in the desert, it makes sense that you use native shrubs and cacti instead of grass, right? Because you don't want to waste water that you don't have. And you can also use drip irrigation, and that's less wasteful than sprinkler, because it only gives little drops at a time and only where it's needed. And another tip to not waste as much water on your yard is watering early morning or in the evening. Because if you water in the middle of the day, it's very hot and sunny, and then all the water you put in is going to evaporate. So you will need more water. So that's smart to actually water in the morning and or in the evening. All right. How do we get our water in California? Since we don't get a lot of rain, we bring water through big pipes from Northern California and also the Colorado River. So in the picture, you see the Lake Mead reservoir. It actually serves water to the states of Arizona, California, and Nevada, and providing water for nearly 20 million people in large areas of farmland. At maximum capacity, the lake contains 26 million acre-feet of water. And the lake has not reached full capacity since 1983 due to a combination of droughts and increased water demand. So if you see the white part on the lake, it's like where the water should be on the top of it, and it's like a little low, right? People use literally tons of water to live and to work. In Los Angeles, we have almost 4 million people, and each residence consume about 89 gallons of water per day. That's a lot. So other no-cost conservation actions for water include turning off the water while you brush your teeth or lather your hands, taking shorter showers. The goal is like 5 minutes or less if you can. Making sure your faucets are not leaking, reducing outdoor water irrigation, and talking about water conservation to your family, to your friends, and your community. So everybody does a little bit, and that's how we save more. With so little water to go around, we should also not pollute water, which harms plants and animals and makes it unusable for humans, because we can't swim in it and we can't drink it. Water pollution, as a definition, is any chemical, physical, or biological change in the quality of water that has a harmful effect on any living things that drinks or uses or lives in it. As you see, water pollution hurts animals, like these poor fishes, and algae blooms, which occur when the water gets contaminated sometimes. They can sicken or even kill fish, shellfish, marine animals, and birds, as well as cause illness in humans who swim in these waters. So now, questions. Why is water so important to us? Can someone take a chance on that? Nick, explain.
Senna? Senna?
Why do you think water is so important to us? Anything. A good reason.
Senna? Justice?
Sorry, water is important to us because number one, we drink it a lot and our bodies are like more than 60% water. We also use it for like, let me think. What around me use water? Like sinks and bathtubs and showers too as well. And then also our animals need it. Like I have a dog, and whenever we come back from a walk, we always have to give him water because he's so tired.
Good answer,
Good.
Justice.
Yeah.
Wyatt?
Water is important because, like Justice said, we need it to survive. Plants need it to survive.
Yeah.
And all the animals need it to survive. So pretty much the whole cycle of life is destroyed if there's no water.
Yeah. All right. Great answer, guys. Does anyone want to explain what is water scarcity?
Lucas?
The desert is one answer.
It's an example, yeah?
Yeah, and so basically water scarcity is when there's not enough water or there isn't a lot of water in a certain location. And yeah, something like that.
Great, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we have water scarcity in a way, yeah, in deserts, in area where it doesn't rain a lot, right? Okay, so water covers most of the Earth's surface. So how can it be scarce? Why do we say that water is scarce on Earth? Does anybody want to answer that one?
Jordan?
So even though the Earth is like mostly water, we say it's scarce because only like I think 0.8% is water that we can actually drink.
Yeah, and why is that?
Because all the other water is either like salt water or like frozen water.
Yeah, yeah, great. You guys got it all. Okay. I think that's it for water. So now let's talk about waste. Does anyone know what recycling is? Yeah, I'm sure you do. And so recycling is things that can be used again, right? And do you know what can be recycled? So you can recycle paper, aluminum cans, glass, some clean plastics. I'm sure I forget some, but you probably have a list from your city that of all you can put in your blue bin, right? And where do you think that the trash goes, the rest, whatever is not recycled? Does anyone know? Where does our trash go? How it's called?
Jordan?
They go into like dumps and they either
Yeah.
decompose or stay there forever.
Yeah, we call it landfill, but it's dump. It's the same thing. Yeah, correct. Thank you. Okay, so municipal solid waste is consists of everything we need to throw away: wrappers, packaging, grass clipping, furniture, clothing, bottles, newspaper, batteries, and so on. Anything we need to throw away. And so apart from what will be recycled or composted, meaning on the blue bin and the green bin, everything that is gonna be in the black bin will most likely be taken to a landfill. And that's a picture of a landfill with a big truck on it trying to push the trash. And here's a landfill. So a place where we bury trash in the ground. Can you see in this image what are the problem in a landfill? Can someone give one problem and then somebody else another one? And all the problems you see.
How about, I'm going to pick someone who doesn't have their hand raised because I see that there's 4 people who are participating. How about Zyra?
What are the problems that you see on this picture with a landfill?
First, I can see there are too many greenhouse gases, you could say, which is bad for our world. And then also on the ground, I can see the oils or other bad things seeking through the water and contaminating the water below. So that's also a water contamination. So
Yeah,
those are bad things.
exactly. Yeah, and then there's rats, right? You can see the 2 or 3 little rats. and also the wind can blow away litter and put trash like in the area nearby. So yeah, you're right. So the water can be contaminated from the trash that leaks into the water in the ground. And also when the trash decomposes, it produces methane and carbon dioxide, which are greenhouse gases. And I think you've seen in the first part that it is warming the earth and very bad for the problem with climate change that we are having. Right? So let's look at a better way to manage our waste. Have you heard of zero waste? It basically means finding solutions so that we don't send our waste to the landfill. So it's basically based on the 3 R's. You've probably heard of it, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle. So first, reduce the amount you use so you create less trash. For example, you can use reusable grocery bags or reusable water bottle. Okay, or there's different examples you can find on how to reduce what you use. Then reuse existing materials instead of purchasing new ones. For example, you can transform an empty yogurt pot into a planter. That's just an example. And so reduce, reuse, and recycle. Recycle what you can. So we already talked about that, the cans, the plastic bottles, the cardboards, everything that goes in the blue bin. And finally, hopefully you will dump what's left, but hopefully it will be a lot less, right, than what would have been if you hadn't reduced, reused, and recycled. Do you guys have your drawings of something you have thrown away before that you could have used again or used for something else?
All right, class, go ahead, turn your cameras on and hold up your drawing of something that you would have normally thrown away, but instead you reused. Ooh, very cool, Hosh. Very cool, Carlos. Very cool, Etiana. Thank you, Wyatt.
Wow.
Wow, who else?
Oh, you guys have lots of ideas. Cool.
Very cool.
You see, so you already know what to do. Okay. Another good way to reduce the amount of waste we produce is to compost. We can compost our food and yard waste. And compost is called the gardener's gold because soil uses decaying fruits and vegetables to stay healthy and fertilize plants so that it can grow more. Composting is like having an organic recycling facility right at your home. Maybe some of you have compost at home, or maybe you can put it in the green bin and it's going to go to an industrial composting facility, and they're going to turn it into dirt and soil again, and healthy soil, fertile soil, right? And then they put it again in the fields. You can see on the image the loop, right? The cycle of the carrots and leaves that go in the compost bin that's transformed into healthy soil, and then the farmers put it to fertilize what we're going to eat again, right? All right. Green cities. Green cities adopt zero waste policies that aim to prevent waste rather than having to clean it up afterwards. So they have comprehensive recycling, composting, and reuse programs so that very few materials end up in landfills or incinerators. Instead, materials are repurposed to continue their usefulness. So San Francisco in California was the first major city in the US to ban the use of the plastic bag, because such bags take a long time to degrade and often end up as a litter. San Francisco also has a mandatory recycling programs which keeps 77% of discarded waste material out of landfills. And so these pictures is a typical San Francisco scene that was miniaturized, and it was made from recycled materials for a special exhibit that they had. Do you think that our city, LA, can become a zero waste city? Do you think you're gonna help the city to become zero waste city? Yeah, hopefully. All right, so that's it for waste. Now let's talk about transportation. What are the pros and cons of using a car for transport? Can someone give us pros for using a car for transport?
Let's see. How about scrolling through everyone? Michaela.
You can get to from like one place to another faster.
Yeah.
You can carry multiple people with you.
Yeah, it's convenient, right? Mm-hmm. And probably in our current system, it takes the least time, right? Because you just go from one, as you said, from one point to another, right? Okay, thank you. And what would be the cons of using a car for transport? Can someone else answer?
Higher traffic accidents, and there's a lot of traffic, so sometimes it can take more time than just like riding a bike or walking if like it's really high traffic. And also not all cars are electric, and the gasoline car industry is much bigger than the electric car industry. So you have that too.
Yeah, and it causes more pollution, right?
Yes. So like we have electric cars now, so as long as we find an easy way to manufacture them, it's going to take over America.
Cool. Yeah, and cars are expensive also. It's more expensive than riding the bus, right? Okay. So other than cars, we can also use mass transit, like buses, trains, and subways. Have you guys ever ridden a bus or train? Yeah, I guess, right? So why do you think people choose the bus, train instead of driving a car? I think we already answered that one. Yeah, they won't have to drive or park, and it's less expensive than owning a car. Okay, so the bus and train and subway are example of mass transportation or mass transit. And today we're going to talk about the different types of mass transportation and what they do for our community. Oh, you guys had a drawing also. What is your favorite way to get around LA? Can I see that? Did you have a drawing on that?
Great, class, go ahead and turn on your cameras and show us how you get around LA. Thank you, Wyatt.
Yeah, bicycle.
Thank you, Osh. Thank you, Sana. Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, Carlos.
Is that a plane?
Ooh, I see a bike. Very cool. I see two bikes.
Yeah, nice
Justin,
bikes.
I see a cool rocket ship car. Very cool.
All right. Thank you, guys. Nice drawings. talking about bus specifically. What are some great things about riding a bus? They reduce traffic because people who ride the bus don't have to drive individual vehicles. Sometimes they have their own lane also, so we don't have traffic jam. And riding a bus doesn't cost as much as owning a car. You don't have to park it. And you can get off the bus right at your bus stop. Now, what are some of the not so great things about riding the bus? Maybe the bus route don't go exactly where you want to go. And if you're late, you miss your bus. So you might have to wait a long time or walk a long distance. And sometimes you have to wait outside and the weather isn't always nice, like today. And buses with lots of stop can be slow also, right? Also, sometimes the bus can be too crowded. Yeah. Okay. Now talking about trains. Some trains go from one end of the country to the other, but some trains stay within a city and nearby areas, taking people to and from work or school. These trains are called commuter trains. Do you know what trains need in order to run? I'm sure you do. Does anyone know what a train needs for running?
Justice?
Well, like, some need like coal, like the old-fashioned kind, and then some need fuel and some need electricity.
Yeah, that's right. But they all need one thing in common. Where do they don't ride on a road, right? They ride on tracks, right? Okay. So thank you. What are the bad effects from transportation systems? Because when we build roads and train tracks, what happens to the natural world? Do you think there were animals there that may not have a home anymore? Maybe. Also, as one of you said, most of our transportation, even the buses, runs on fossil fuels like gasoline or diesel, which are a cause of climate change. Right? So what are other alternatives that we have? For example, walking, as you said, walking is a form of alternative transportation for a person who usually rides in a car. So same thing for biking, riding a train or bus, or skateboarding, or riding in an alternative vehicle. All of these options are considered better for the environment than a traditional gas-powered vehicle. Do you know what an alternative vehicle is? This term is used to refer to any vehicle that does not use a traditional petroleum fuel, gas, or diesel, or does not solely rely upon the fuels and energy we dig up from the ground, which are called the fossil fuel. So you have three pictures. You can see example of alternative vehicles. The first one is the electric vehicle, also called EV. So this one only takes its energy from the electricity. You just need to plug it and it charges the battery in the car that will give it its power. Then the second one is a hybrid vehicle. So that one has a battery also, but is half and half, let's say. It works with electricity and gasoline. And the third one, solar vehicle. So that one, I've never seen one. I don't know if it exists yet, but maybe in the future it would be. We would have a solar powered vehicle. That'd be cool. All right. Green schools. What can we do to make our school better for the environment? If if you look at this school, what do you see that shows that this school is green? Can someone take a guess?
Sebastian?
So it has solar panels first of all on the top of the roof.
Mhm.
And I can't. That's the only thing I could see because I'm kind of I can't.
Yeah, it's a little small maybe on your screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to show you. So yeah, you said it. There's the solar panel here that takes the energy from the sun, which we have a lot here in California. Then you see the building has big windows here. So you don't have to, probably you don't have to put lights like during the day. You don't have to turn the lights on. So that saves energy because you already have the natural light coming in the classroom. Also, if you look at the walls, they look like they're pretty thick wall. They're well insulated, so it will keep the building from being too hot or too cold. Here, there's daylighting tubes. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's a little metal tube that actually reflects the lights of the daylight, and it looks like a lamp, like it looks like a spotlight inside the classroom, but it's not. It's just the sun, basically. It doesn't use energy from the grid, right? This classroom also has LED lights. You've probably heard of that. It's a type of light that is a lot more efficient and doesn't use as much energy and electricity as the regular light bulb that we used to have. And as for cooling and heating, this school has a geothermal heating and cooling system, which means that they take like if you go a few feet beneath the surface of the earth, the temperature is relatively stable, not too hot, not too cold. So they draw some pipes in, and it helps. Like if it's too hot, it's gonna be cooler beneath the surface, so you can use the freshness and actually cool the building with that. And same thing if it's too cold, then you can use the heat that's in the ground to warm up the building. So that's a cool thing, and it doesn't use additional electricity, right? And I think that's it. Yeah. And here you have other pictures of other examples of what we can do for a school to be greener. In the first one here, you see electric buses, like they're plugged in. Here are the solar panels. Here are the bikes and bike racks, the recycling cans. That looks like a green roof, which are plants on the roof, which makes it cooler. And here they're capturing rainwater in a rain barrel, probably having a garden out here. So yeah, these are ideas that we can have to have our school greener. Yeah, a green school is when we put the value of nature into the buildings and campuses that we go to. When we combine all of these things that we've talked about today that make our environment more sustainable, we are protecting ourselves and the planet. And this will end up helping animals and biodiversity around the world. And green school incorporate many different features that reduce their environmental impact and also increase the health and well-being of the people that live and work in it. And everybody, we all want to be healthy and feel good, right? So green schools actually help with it. So that's great. Some of the green school features include clean and healthy indoor air, energy efficiency, cutting energy usage, water and natural resource conservation, natural and healthy lighting and ventilation, and waste management principle. All right. I think we're done. Thank you, guys. I think we have a little bit of time for questions. I don't know if some of you have questions for me. Something that wasn't clear or some other thing that I didn't say, maybe.
All right, class, go ahead, reset your hands. And if you have a question for them, please raise it because I see we have some old hands up. All right, Bryson? No? Okay. Trying to figure out who has a question. Zyra? Zyra?
That's an old hand.
Okay. Lucas, is that an old hand? Any questions for our presenters? Comments? Anything? They're very quiet today.
There's a question in the chat. How many green schools are there?
Huh.
It's a good question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. I think a lot of them are trying. And that's good because that's what we all should be trying to do, you know, and we all go one step at a time. But I don't know if, you know, yeah, I think some schools are actually get a certification from the US Green Building Council, right? So that I don't know the number really, but I know that it's going up, so it's a good thing. Like we have more and more green schools. And I hope that you, when you go back in school or even now, you tell the people in your school that you want it to be green.
There's really quickly, a few more questions. How much do solar panels cost? Because I want to buy some from Justice.
You know, I think they've gone significantly. The price is a lot less than it used to be. Now, if you just want to have some in your house, you know, it depends how big is your house and how much energy you use. But I think it's like between $7,000 to $10,000, I think, let's say, for a house. And then, yeah, obviously for a school, and it's a lot more, but it's something that will last for a long time. So it's an inversion. It's an investment, sorry. And yeah, and then you won't have to pay for electricity bills. So
great. Well, there's a few more questions, but I know we're over time, Caitlin. So
actually,
make that decision.
Bryson has a question I kind of want to know, because I was under the impression that to collect rainwater in Los Angeles, that was illegal, like you weren't supposed to. So is there a way to actually get those containers where you can collect rainwater?
So so for Los Angeles City in particular, I'm not sure, but like I live in the South Bay, and West Basin has had programs that actually distribute rain barrels to residents. So they would have, like, on a Saturday morning, an event in a parking lot and distribute for free rain barrels. But yeah, I don't know that it's illegal. I don't think so. Now,
somewhere that you could get like a ticket for it or something. I could be completely wrong, but I
so
thought
for schools, I don't know if for a school, you know, because schools have more restrictions, if that would be not allowed for schools, but like for your house, I think you definitely can. I think the only thing that you need to have is like a screen on top of it. So because they don't want mosquitoes go in. So maybe the picture we have here is not the best example because it doesn't look like it has a screen on it, but mine have a screen. So it's just the gutter that goes down from the roof and passes through the screen and goes into the. So I haven't had any issues with mosquitoes. Okay. And then usually they tell you you're supposed to use it within a few weeks. Like you don't want like water to sit forever in a
right.
container, but I don't know that it's illegal. I don't think so.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to look into actually getting one because I think it's a great way to water the garden instead of having to use a hose and, up my water
Yeah,
bill.
especially now that it's
Especially right
raining
now
a
when it's
lot.
pouring
Like
rain and wet.
mine are full, and I wish I had more. It fills up pretty fast. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much. This was such a great presentation. Class, I will see everyone back at, let's say, 1:20. Go ahead and log out and take your lunch break, and we will resume our normal class activities at
Thank you.
1:20.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It was such an informative field trip. So thank you so much. We really appreciate
I'm
it.
glad. Hope you all enjoyed.
All right,
Yeah.
guys.